Yeah, let's park it here. The railroad has been with me the whole trip. I've been following the TNT Railroad, not intentionally. It just kind of worked out that way. I have also been following, more intentionally, the Death Valley Railroad. But that happened at a coincidence. So yeah, it's kind of weird, it's magical. That's what I mean by that. Okay, so there's the X5, and right behind it is Pyramid Peak. Just off the 190, going into Death Valley. And that would be the Funeral Mountain Range. And on this side here is the Black Mountain Range. That goes all the way down into like Shoshone area. Anyway, I'm going up to the top of this hill here to connect to the Death Valley Railroad. And that's where we're going to pick up this hike, and we're going to take it all the way into what I call the valley that time forgot. So check that video out too. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. It's really early. It's super cold. I took off my beanie hat and I put on my new Shoshone hat. How do you guys like that? I like it. Fits way better too. Better quality. Just all around better. And I love Shoshone. But I'm getting off topic. On topic is up there. I'm going to turn the camera off, but let's head on up and we're going to go onto the railroad and let's walk it in. So we're a little further in now on the beginning part of this portion of the Death Valley Railroad. And I was just to orient you a little bit, I just parked the car just right down this hill here, and I'm not but 10 minutes out. And the first place we're getting to, the railroad runs right by here and goes on down. We'll join that up in a second. I just wanted to come over here and show you guys the remains of the railroad construction crew camps. Here's a big foundation and walls of some sort of building. I would guess it's maybe a store. Who knows? But as well as that, out here you can see some shadows out along the hillside here. Those are little encampments, and what they are just basically stacked stone. And what the workers would do, since these were just very temporary locations, they would just stack stone and put tarp over the tops to create a tent-like feature. And let's go check that out. But here you go. This is it. These little areas where someone might sleep, and they would put a tarp over the top with some a skeleton of like a wire mesh type stuff. Like here's some wire here. You can kind of see it's still here. It's not completely gone, but that's what they would drape over the top. Now in the center, right here they would have a post coming out of the ground that would help the wire basically create this rooftop tent type setup. Anyway, yeah, there's about, I don't know, 15 to 25 of these guys out here, just scattered about. It's hard to see here. I mean, there's one even way at the top here. You can kind of see it. Yeah, interesting, noteworthy, worth stopping and poking around. We're going to continue on now. You can kind of see the railroad out here. It runs along this hillside here and through this little valley and then into that area. That's not too far away. And once we get over there, it's a pretty remarkable view into Death Valley itself from basically just across the street from the park itself. Anyway, we're on BLM land, and anyone can come out here and do this hike. And I would say it's a novice level. It's very flat, and it's just very picturesque. And some of these things, like this encampment here, you might not even notice if you weren't looking closely. Like in the morning, it's actually easier to see because the shadows are casting pretty long shadows behind each of these encampments. But high noon, you wouldn't see it. Anyway, let's move on. Down into the valley that time forgot on the the Death Valley Railroad. Man, look at those colors on that hillside there. Got these reds and the yellows. Wow, that's amazing. So yeah, that's the Pyramid Peak up there. And you can see the encampments from here, the shadows along this hillside here. There's even an encampment way over here on this side here, right about in there. But yeah, they're all over this hillside. So yeah, if you come out here and poke around, you can actually find on this side of the camp, you find a trash pit where you find all kinds of cool artifacts. Just a heads up. Today's office. Not bad, huh? Yeah, you're looking directly into Death Valley there. Those are the hills within Death Valley, the mountains. Now, we are coming down the railroad of Death Valley Railroad. This is the remains of that coming through here, and on our way through and over into another valley just across the street from Death Valley National Park. Okay guys, we have just entered into the valley that time forgot. That's what I'm calling this area, but this is the valley that Ryan Camp goes into. Well, is part of, not into. But yeah, we're going to be hugging this hillside for a little bit, going into the sunlight, and continuing on the Death Valley Railroad. But isn't this a great view? Check this out. I'm really enjoying it out here. I've done many hikes from way over here all the way through here and into this valley that I'm calling Valley at Time Forgot. And at the end of this valley in there, you'll find a lot of the railroad worker and construction workers campsites from the early 1900s. I would guess 1910, 1905-ish, that kind of era. So quite a while ago. And it's interesting, you can see there's a black powder can down there. Yeah, they were blowing up the hillside here to carve out the line for the Death Valley Railroad. Anyway, let's continue on. Here's another can. I think it's a black powder can. There's a spout on the bottom of it. You can see that. It's a little spout. Hercules. I believe I recognize that name from a black powder manufacturer of some sort. It looks like there was a spout there. That's hilarious. Anyway, the stuff you find out here in the valley that time forgot. It's beautiful out here. Onward. Yeah, so for me, walking through this stuff, my ankle, not good. Here we are at another stop. I've been here before. I've done a video here where I was on this very hike. It was an aborted hike, actually. Had my friend Paul with me at the time, and he was suffering from heat exposure, and we had to make our way back, and this is one of the places we stopped at, and I started realizing he was having some issues. So I guess we were here about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the afternoon at this location, and we still had to navigate, I don't know, several miles to go before we got back to camp. Long story short, it was just a nightmare. It was a total shit show. Anyway, I'm back here now. It's 8:30 in the morning. I'm doing really good on time. I wasn't quite sure how long it was going to take me to get this far, so I'm very happy. I'm well ahead of schedule. So that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off and hike a bit more in. Probably turn it on when I run into some more artifacts, which I'm sure are coming up very shortly. I think it's about 30 degrees out. Last time I was here, I think it was closer to 110. I think. standing in that spot right over there. I think I was calling that Cathedral Canyon, my little video short. I'll try and put a note up at the top of the screen there. But yeah, this is looking into Death Valley there. That's the Furnace Creek area down in there. That's the Death Valley Basin, as you can see down in there. This is the valley that I've taken many hikes into. And off here in the corner is Ryan Camp. That's the white area that you're seeing in dead center of your screen there now. That's Ryan Camp. You cannot get into that. That's private property. And this railroad does dead end there. However, we will not be going all the way to the end of that. We'll be going as far as we can go, which I think is roughly about where the cemetery is and the grave sites, which is my turning around point for this particular hike. I'm going to head on out, and I will turn the camera back on when we run across some more artifacts, which I'm sure is going to be coming up very shortly. By the way, I'm about 70% on my battery on my phone, so we'll see how much I can get in here. This might be a one-way trip for the phone in the video, guys. I'll just have to hike out on my own. But glad to have you guys along. Comments down below. I'm always looking for Patreon memberships. Please subscribe and like the video. Like shows me that you do care. Yeah, I stole that from Adam the Woo. But yes, it does matter. Even a thumbs down matters to me. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think. I'll try and improve along the way. No promises. No promises. We're along the way to Culminite on the Death Valley Railroad. I just wanted to point out something here. You see this little pathway here I'm kind of centered on? Well, you see a lot of that coming up here. And these are paths for either maintaining or creating this railroad. The construction workers out here would use that to access different paths up onto the railroad itself. You can see paths here and there. I passed a couple of them already, but you can even see like little different staging areas they would have, like right over there for supplies and whatnot. Now, the campsites for the workers were right about in there, and I've got a separate video on that. Details up above, or the link up above, and down in the details below. But yeah, there's some pretty cool things down there. It's just like the campsites that we were looking at the start of this this portion of the hike. The rock-built ones with the wire mesh on the top, that sort of thing. Anywho, Culminite, by the way, is right around there, and we're going to be heading over there in a quick second here. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump. We're making great time, by the way. So I guess just through erosion made it very difficult to keep this railroad open. I just walked through all that, and my ankle is killing me. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to going back through that, but do you see a choice? Anyway, onward. That sucked. That really sucked. So once in a while, you'll run across a little artifact like this guy here. It's sheared off or broken off. Looks like this one was sheared off. Piece of metal failed right here. Or they over-torqued it, one of the two. Well, something happened to it, but that's from the railroad, I believe. An ore cart from a mine. The wheels are taken off. That's the undercarriage of this. It's in two pieces now. They used to be connected. You know, there's some tailings there. Mines up there. Anyway, just another one of those things you find along the railroad of Death Valley Railroad. Heading into Colemanite here, folks. So yeah, been here before. This is as far as we got. We had to turn around. It was too damn hot. Came back here with my friend Jenny, great friend Jenny, and we were able to do a lot of, I guess what she would call mudlarking. You know, poking around in the dirt for different artifacts. Especially if we know we're in a trash heap of some sort, or like the town dump. We investigate. It's pretty interesting what we find. We found a whole bunch of really old Levi's buttons. Old 1900 Levi's buttons. With the, well, very unique. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff you find. Now we're here now in Colemanite. Colemanite is a mine site, which they were, I believe, mining borax. Here's some of the railroad ties still left here from the day. And there's some other artifacts blown to bits down there in the gully, the wash. Mine is, of course, no longer active. Danger signs, warning signs everywhere. Here's an old pipe. Looks like either a water pipe or possibly an air pipe, probably water. Bent pipe. That's intentionally bent that way. Interesting. You can see little divots where they intentionally wanted it to be radiused as they went across. Kind of interesting. But this was one of the stops. Excuse me. This was one of the stops that the train would pick up ore from. A lot of activity here. I have not gone up there because, well, one, it's dangerous. The ground is really uneven and sketch, so I kind of stay away from that shit. But it would be kind of fun to get a drone up there and see what's really left. There's an actual stairway along this hillside here. It's kind of rotted away. It looks like it was once wood. But there's ways to get up there. I'm just not interested in that right now. I'm really out here. My focus is the Death Valley Railroad, which I've been hiking all the way down this hillside here, down this way to here at Colemanite. See some of the access roads they had, or paths they had to service the railroad itself. This is where all those camps are, back over there on the other side of this little rock. Yeah, I've done a lot of videos down there. Now that butterfly video I have, I believe was filmed right in here. The butterflies. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. Anywho, here's a little piece we can walk up to. A structure of some sort. There's no telling what this could have been used for, although, oh no, there's no telling. Looks like some good woodwork there. Wow, a shed it looks like. By the way the top is, it's kind of angled over. Looks like it's a chicken coop of some sort. So I can get an angle on it for you guys. See what I mean? Has that slight angle to it, like a chicken coop would. No telling. No telling. Maybe this is where they're keeping dynamite. Black powder of something. I don't know. There's a big, huge tank of some sort. Let's see if I can see it in here. Get there. I think that's it right there. Metal tank of some sort. Water tank, possibly. So I'm actually standing on some sort of path here that kind of leads down and around here. You can kind of see. I'm not going down there. This is probably just a path to get back down to the remains of that camp right over here. Now that monument that I went up to is right up here. That's where that little monument is. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. But we're not going to be going down there today. We're going to stick to this hillside here. We're almost at the halfway point. Actually, I think this is the halfway point. And we're not even sneaking up on 10 o'clock yet. So I'm very happy with the progress today. Okay, everyone. We're leaving Colemanite, which is in that direction. And we're going to head on south on the Death Valley Railroad. And our next destination is going to be the gravesite. The gravesite is, I believe, 6 to 8 unmarked graves. They're just marked with big crosses. That's my turning around point, and we're coming up on that here fairly shortly. It's just on the other side of a broken down bridge. I will divulge this in the video, so hang tight. More railroad ties, remains, but also remains of a little village of some sort. Gone through here as well. There's some dugouts in there. You see like an outhouse kind of leaning over on the side there. It looks like they had livestock over in this area over here. And either they were cows or horses or chickens. I'm not quite sure what was going on with that, but there definitely was livestock of some sort over there. Now on this side, it looks like this was a train stop as well. And it looks like it's raised up, first off. I'm trying to angle the camera down to get better lighting. What I'm going to do is actually move forward. Hold on a second. Okay, I moved up a little bit. Now, here's the foundation I was talking about that's kind of raised up. I was thinking that's raised up in order to get better access to the train to unload. And there's some fencing back here, old timber back there, that makes me believe that it was a place they were holding livestock as well. Now over here, ouch, that was my ankle giving way. That hurt. Once again, I'm playing with the camera, trying to move around. There's a fire pit here, and there's definitely a foundation here for some sort of building. So someone, I think, had a business here. Yeah, definitely something going on here with that. Again, my good friend Jenny was out here with me exploring a while back. I think about a year ago. Look at that. Jenny would fall in love with that. Some kind of porcelain. It's like a cracked finish to it. It's beautiful. I'll put links to that video of this area in the description below. See, there's the chicken fencing that I'm guessing is giving away that they were using this area for livestock of some sort. It kind of goes over onto the side here. Like it was a holding area of some sort. And there's a lot of wood coming down the side here, leading me to believe there was maybe a deck coming out in order to unload and load onto the train. Look at that. Can't quite read that. From this vantage point, you can see how the railroad path cuts into this turn here and goes across and into Ryan Camp there. There's some built up trestles on the other side. Pretty well done railroad. Now the gravesite we're going to is just on the other side over there. That would mark the halfway point. Soldier on. So what we're going to have to do here is go off the path of the railroad, go down this path here, and go down and hook back around and back up again. The reason why I have to do that is the railroad is broken down here. There's a bridge that's washed out, and it has not been repaired, and there's just no way to get to the other side, and the other side is where we need to go. So that's our turnaround point. Well, as you can see, yeah, it's kind of blown out. So the gravesite, if you guys don't know already, is just right there. You might be able to see little crosses. And going this way is Ryan Camp. But we're not going any further than that, and I'll see you guys on the other side. We've successfully made it down to the gravesite. The cemetery, excuse me. 6 unmarked graves. I'm assuming from the railroad workers constructing the railroad, or possibly the bridge that's knocked out over here. Who knows? But they're not forgotten. Just unnamed. What do you guys think of that? That's pretty cool, huh? Great hike. One of my favorite hikes coming in. Going out, I like to take the long way. I like to take the base of this little valley on out. It's absolutely breathtaking down there. I shot some video down there of a butterfly. I think I put that on earlier in this video. But yeah, going out this way is not so attractive to me because it's all uphill. And there's some rocky parts. But I'll bear with that. Hey, if you guys like this adventure, please hit the subscribe and like button, please. Especially if you want to know more about these things as they roll out. I'm also on Facebook and on Patreon. I'm looking for some Patreon members to help support my efforts here on this channel. They would be most appreciated. Let's see what else is going on. I might be switching a little bit more over to Instagram. I'm not quite sure about that yet. But definitely Facebook. Check me out there. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this little trip on the Death Valley Railroad, which is defunct for now. But a great way to hike into the valley. Eminence from X5 and Larry Word out.